like to do something different. So I looked around, and I actually finished up with a job in Australia, in steelworks in Wollongong, which is a little bit north of Sydney. Anyway.
Okay.
And so I got the job and said, right, before we get there, we'll take a roundabout route, take some time off. So what few possessions we had, we sold up. We had a little Renault car, a French one.
Right.
And we set off from Miranda, and we took 10 weeks, and we camped out to Victoria, down the west coast to LA, back through the States, and finished back in Montreal 10 weeks later.
Wow.
So sold our car and thought, well, on our way to Australia. So we're in England, and we're had this job in Australia, on our way just to visit family because we didn't want to see them again. So while I was in England, I looking at the job ads, and I saw an interesting looking one in West Africa, in Ghana, which was fairly newly independent. It's been independent since it's the first black.
Used to be called British Guiana, right?
No,
no.
It was.
Oh, okay.
The next country to Nigeria.
Okay.
Right. Pretty well next door to Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of looks interesting. So I applied for the job, a job there, and again in my field. It was metallurgical engineering things. And I looked at it and went there and got the interview, and they offered me a job. So now I had a decision to make now. Do we continue to Australia?
Right.
And we said, well, it's kind of interesting. Grew up in England, I've been to Canada. Australia sounded okay, but the one in Ghana sounded a bit more interesting.
Right.
And I guess to summarise it through there, I had some good black African friends,
mm-hmm.
and a fair number of white acquaintances,
okay.
which tended to get me in trouble with my bosses. That
right.
we would have some of my black African friends and the family back to our house, which didn't necessarily sit well with
right.
Some of our senior people that fraternised, which was about 35,000. And the mine employed about 150 whites and about 5,000 blacks. So I was in the minority, so it's
right.
a different situation to be in a minority white situation.
Right.
And I played tennis, and I played soccer with the white team, which was a mine team, and I also played with the black team, and we used to play against blacks. And so it's kind of.
Did you ever fear for
the some of the, my wife and I, we've never been religious. However, when we were in Ghana, we went to the Methodist church, which is a black African church, and my wife and I were the service would start something like 9 o'clock in the morning and go till about 1 o'clock. People would come in and out, and there were food vendors outside, and people would go, but my wife and I were the only white people that went there.
Right.
And cancer, you've got really 3 kinds of treatments. You've got surgery plus radiation, and in a minority of cases still surgery plus radiation plus temozolomide chemotherapy, which is still very new. And I've done all 3. So when I go to the group, I've had all 3. I've been through the tough times, if you will.
Right.
And the primary reason I go to the group is because I feel that I might be able to help somebody in that group. I don't know that I will be able to, but
I think just by your spirit.
And I say I really can't understate just that weakness, mental incompetence in the sense. I don't mean just not no mental strength.
Right.
To even think properly, and I needed help. I think that's one thing I've really learned, that I think all of my life I've been a type A personality. I think most of my life.
Right.
I don't want to say I know I have been.
Right.
and then now realizing that that's been a big change for me, is that to be willing to take help.
Right.
That you become a type A and you think you can solve all the problems
You're
yourself.
just going to bulldoze your way through life,
right.
and yeah.
And then now